Alright, so Ms. Marvel, I'm not even going to beat around the bush here. This is the best damn book coming out of Marvel right now. It's just spectacular. Everything about it is great. The art's great. The writing's phenomenal. And, I could just gasm all over this book, but I'm pretty sure you want to hear some legitimate reasons as to why I'm gasming all over this comic. So, I'm going to start off with the art. Typically I start off with the writing, but, when it comes to the writing, I'm just probably going to go into, deep detail about why I love it. So, I'm starting off with the art. And the art is just great. This comic's drawn by Adrian Alphona, who I recognize his name on the book, and I said, where do I know that name from? And I realized that he did Uncanny X-Force a few years ago. So I said, oh, yeah, because he stopped after a while, and he quit, and then he went back to doing comics, and he's one of my favorite artists, even though he doesn't have that long of a resume. He's up there with Fiona Staples and Sean Murphy for me, because those are my favorite artists currently. So the art's great. It matches the tone of the book beautifully, and I love the exaggerated expressions. I love the actions, and his art really does work perfectly with the main character's power set, I guess. Excuse me. So, yeah, he was putting him on this book was inspired. So yeah, art is beautiful. It looks almost like an indie comic. Yeah. I mean, if you've read the book, then you can you can smell what I'm stepping in here, right? It feels like an indie comic, but under the Marvel imprint. And that's just really cool. So, yeah, art's great. Got that out of the way. On to writing by G. Willow Wilson, who did Air, which got canceled, which I'm still a little sour about, but whatever. And who also did the Vixen miniseries a few years ago, which is good, and if you get a chance, you should pick it up. I liked it, at least. She just knocks it out the park with this. This feels like, and a friend of mine said this, and I think that is a brilliant way to look at it. This feels like a Silver Age Marvel book set in current day dark and gritty Marvel comics. And it's just a breath of fresh air. And I'm not saying I don't like dark and gritty from comics, because, I am one of those people who actually does like dark and gritty. Sue me. But, sometimes it just gets a little overwhelming, and this was great. It was fun to read a Marvel book besides Spider-Man that just said, hey, we're a comic book. Let's just have fun and be weird. And, just so great. So I'm going to start off with the characters, because this is a character-driven story, unlike some things in comics today, which are just plot-driven. I'm more of a character-driven type of guy myself. So, Kamala Khan, the main protagonist of the story, she's the typical nerd, geek, protagonist. However, and this is why I really love this book, the writer isn't forcing it. it feels very natural. She's not writing Kamala in this very. She's not trying to drive it into our heads that this is a very pathetic loser, teenager character. But she's also not writing them as. She's not writing Kamala as this character who everyone says is socially unacceptable and kind of a dweeb, but in reality, they'd be like the coolest motherfucker that you just want to hang out with. She's written like a regular person. There's no great prophecy or destiny or anything like that, because I really resist that type of thing in just any medium. But then again, this book is only like 10 issues in, and I've only read up to issue 7, so I don't know what happens next. So I could just be talking out of my ass, and I could be saying something completely wrong. But so far, so good. And Kamala is one of those characters. You get these characters once in a blue moon. For Marvel anyways. She is not a character that has some tragic background or some horrifying history that provoked her to do something good with her powers. She's just good for the sake of being good, because being good is good and being a dick is not good. It makes you not likable. And that's why I love this character. She's very heartfelt, she's very sincere, and there's a lot of that missing in comics today. And it's just, like I said, it's a breath of fresh air. The supporting characters consist of her family. She has a great family. Her brother's a dick. Her brother is a bit of a dick, and her mom can be a little, her mom can be a little bitchy sometimes. But, for the most part, you can tell that her family loves her. And also, actually, I'll get into that later. But yeah, her family's great. And her best friends, Bruno and I believe Nadima. No, Nadima's from Batgirl. I'm thinking of the wrong best friend. Nakia. You know what? I'm just gonna have the name flashing on the screen. So yeah, those characters, I really buy that Kamala is friends with them. Just the way that she interacts with them, and just the way that they talk to her and stuff like that, I really buy their friendships. And they don't feel like characters that are just there for the sake of being those token two best friend characters. I really like that. As for the story so far, I only really have like a firm grasp on volume 1, which is titled No Normal. It's pretty by the numbers. It's her origin story. You've seen it a few dozen times at least. Loser goes from zero to hero, becomes a superhero, and, the legend begins. But it's just handled so great. Now, the villain of this story is a guy named the Inventor. And he's just a giant mutated bird guy. And that's also, just another reason why I love this book. It's just Silver Age Marvel. It's just so crazy. I feel like Marvel just said, hey, just do whatever you want. Doesn't matter. And Wilson just said, okay, fine. And we got this. Volume 1 is like $10. It's practically a steal. Just pick up this comic. It's great. Support it. I really love it. It was supposed to be like just a little mini-series that was going to promote the Inhumans, because Marvel is trying their damnedest to cancel the X-Men and replace them with the Inhumans, which I still think is just a dumb idea, but they're trying to do that, so whatever. And this was just them saying, hey, Inhumans exist. But yeah, this is just so much more. And, you know, saying a lot that this was supposed to be a miniseries that is now an ongoing series because everyone loved it so much. So, yeah, just pick it up. It's great. I'm done gasming all over this now.